It's Risa G coming in from my cluttered kitchen for another Tool Tuesday. This one to discuss Instant Pot accessories. What you need, what you don't need, what's useful, and what may not be necessary at all, depending on what you want to use your Instant Pot for. This is, of course, mainly for newbies. I've had mine now since December of 2016. And at first I didn't buy anything for it because I didn't know how much I was going to use it. I didn't know if I was going to be good at cooking with it. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if I was going to make things explode all over the kitchen. And I was very nervous pressure cooker cook. So what you get with it is this trivet. You get a rice cup, which is really only 2/3 of a cup American measurements. So you can't do like 1 to 2 measurements like for most rice they say in cookbooks, because it's really only 2/3 of a cup, so 6 ounces American measurements. And you get a white spoon and a white rice spatula, which I have misplaced and I've never used. Instead of the spatula, I usually use this Wilton dough spoon scoop thing that comes in a set of 3 different sizes for different kinds of muffins. As you can see, it has a muffin on it, but I use it for a lot of other things. So that's what I use it for the rice. And those are the only things that come with it, aside from your sealing ring and your inner pot. And this, I think, also comes off, and all right. So those are the things they actually give you. Now, I didn't go out and buy a lot of stuff originally because I didn't know how well I was going to do with this. I didn't know if it was worth it. But once I started playing around with it, I found out I needed a good basket. You can use one of those metal ones that you find everywhere for $2, but I bought this one at Bed Bath & Beyond. It's a little bit bigger and holds a lot more. It holds like 5 or 6 chicken breasts, which is really useful. It has little feet. I lost the little green things, but it still stands just fine. And if I use this, then I don't need this. I did buy some little silicone rings for eggs, to do poached eggs, or to do like little egg bites, the sous vide egg bites, until I went out and bought from Amazon one of these, and now I use this only for these sous vide egg bites, and has a nice little cover on it, so that way if you don't want to pop them all out at one time, you can refrigerate it like this. I also use it for cheesecake, little bits of cheesecake. I did that for New Year's Eve. It was great. And I've also used it for little brownies. So you can use it for baking too, which is great. It cleans up in the dishwasher like a gem. It's great. But the first things I went out and bought were Anchor Hocking bowls. Do not use Pyrex. It's made from something else that supposedly will explode in the electric pressure cooker. So this is Anchor Hocking. So is this one, and I found them at the flea market for like 50 cents or something. I found these little Cuisinart loaf pans for meatloaf and for like little pound cakes and things. I found that at I found it at Marshall's for like $4 or something. So I have a set of those. And I also bought a little set of these 4-inch. Before I found my 7-inch, I found this little set of 4-inch springform for cheesecake. So there's that. You can buy those. I did that for New Year's Eve too. I made little cheesecakes. And then push pan. I found this at a specialty store, but you can also find them on Amazon. 6-inch, 7-inch, depending on what size you think will fit in your in your machine. This is a 6 quart, so the 6 and 7 inch fit with some kind of a sling. So I also have a springform pan, which I can't seem to find at the moment, for cheesecake. And also I found this at Walmart for like $3 or $4 from Wilton, a little bundt pan. I used it for cornbread. It was delicious. And also these little fat Daddio flat cake pans. You can use it for like pizza dough and things like that if you want to proof dough on the yogurt setting. So that's good. And also, very necessary, little silicone mitts. You can get them very cheaply at dollar stores. One of them I found at Bed Bath & Beyond, the other at a dollar store, and they're very handy for taking things out of the oven, but also taking silicone, anything out of the Instant Pot. Those are great. And also I found at Walmart a little steamer basket if I don't want to use this one, if I have a lot less stuff to steam, like a little bit of broccoli or something, right on the trivet. Very useful, and it cost me like $1. This bowl was a set of like 3 or 4, and I think it cost $4 for the whole set, and they're food grade, so that's wonderful. The other things that I think are not completely necessary, a lot of people have, are the, it depends on what you do. If you're just sticking to pressure cooking, then you need this lid. But if you want to keep things warm, if you want to make yogurt, the separate tempered glass lid is very useful. I didn't have it for the first year. I bought it for Hanukkah this last year. But it is very useful. But you may not need it. If you don't make yogurt, then you might not need it. Also, I went out immediately and bought this book, and I love it. There are lots of books on the market. Some are terrible. They were just pushed out on the market, and the recipes weren't really tested, or they were stolen, or whatever. So don't trust the freebies that you see all over the internet. A lot of those people have stolen the recipes from other books and other people. And the recipes don't work, or they're just awful. They don't read right. They don't tell you the directions correctly. They don't tell you which buttons to press, things like that. But this book is wonderful, as is the Miracle Cookbook and also the Essential Cookbook. Any ones that are actually from the folks at Instant Pot. I don't think this one is officially, but I do think that Laurel Randolph works with them. So this one's really good. As you can see, I've used a lot of the recipes. And of course, if necessary, eventually you're going to need to buy extra rings. So if you are within the first year and you're under warranty, you should strictly go with Instant Pot brand rings. I found out after I bought these that they are not real Instant Pot brand, but they work fine. I mean, if you're, outside of your warranty thing, because if you're in the warranty, they won't accept it and they'll take you off the warranty thing, I've been told. But since I'm way past my warranty, and if it did break, I would just buy another one. I would just go out and buy another one, maybe a little bit bigger. And so I would just get another official one that comes with it. But really, if you're within your range, you really should have pure Instant Pot products. I will say that. So I'm just going to go over very quickly what's really necessary, what isn't really necessary, depending on what you intend to do. And I forgot to mention a couple of other things. All right, so if you're going to do meatloaf, lasagna, cheesecake, things like that, or rotisserie chicken, you need to either make yourself long strips of tin foil and make a sling to put under the bowls or the pans or the chickens. But if you want to and you don't like cooking with foil, they make these bands. They're called Graffiti bands, Griffitti or TTI. They come in sets. They're not just great for slinging things, they're also good for other things like carrying books and all kinds of other things. They show pictures of what they're good for. I use them for slinging lasagna pans and for cheesecakes especially, and for chickens. I'm sure you saw that in my rotisserie chicken video that I slung a chicken, and they go right into the dishwasher. So they get sanitized and they're perfectly clean. They're wonderful. Also, I didn't mention before, these lovely clips from Trudeau that are great for hooking. You've seen me use them like this. They have a little thing on it for your spoon or your spatula, things like that. But it also keeps the inner pot from moving when you're stirring, so it's very useful. If you can't find them, you can go to Staples or Walmart and get one of these clips, and also very useful, does the same thing and costs probably 1/10 of the price, and you get a whole set of them. All right, so the things that are totally necessary for Instant Pot cooking: a steamer basket, very necessary. The little mitts, so you don't burn yourself. Different size bowls to do pot and pot cooking, very necessary. If you want to do rice, different grains, oats, really fabulous for oats. You need glass bowls from Anchor Hocking, or stainless steel food grade bowls, very necessary. And then, and definitely something for a sling if you're going to do chickens, lasagnas, and things like that, cheesecakes, very necessary. Now the things you don't really need one of these. But if you intend to do those sous vide egg bite copycat recipe, or a little cheesecakes or some baby food, things like that, then this is quite good. But you could use glass ramekins, or the Pioneer Woman ramekins work pretty well. So it's not completely necessary. Little different cake pans aren't necessary unless you intend to do lasagna, or the ravioli lasagna, which I made last week, or cheesecakes. Really, unless you, I mean, if you really are never going to do those kind of things, then you don't need these. And also, I mean, if you're not going to do any baking of any kind, so the bundt cakes or cornbread, things like that, then you don't need this. But it's very handy to have. For $3, it's not a big expense. And if you're not going to do cheesecake, then you don't have to worry about these little ones. If you aren't going to do, you can do meatloaf in a tin, one of those tin things that you throw out. You can easily do it in that. So you don't need these separate kinds of things, but they are handy to have. And if you also want to make like little gift, like little loaf cakes, you know, they're great for gifts when you have 3 or 4 of them, and you can pile them into, depending on how many you can fit in here. I can fit 3 at a time in here without going over the max line. But I've heard with the 8 quart or the 10 quart that you can get like everything in there, which is great if you want to do lots of them at a time. But anyway, so those are my tools, and I'll link you to many of them underneath if you want to get your hands on any of them. And if you want to see more Tool Tuesdays to do with the Instant Pots, come back and visit me. I'm sure I'll be having some more of them in the future. If you like this, press like and subscribe, and press that little bell. And thanks for coming into my kitchen. Bye.